Hi guys, welcome to the Educate, Inspire, Change page. It's amazing to be on here live with you, and if you've been on here before, as you know, I'm Coach Yadi. If you haven't, welcome, and I feel that this topic is relevant to you and so many of us about living this safe life so that nothing goes wrong and that we're in control and there's no room for failure. So I came here on this particular platform today to inspire you to create that change and to pretty much push you in that direction that you wish or desire to be in. You know, one of my soul's purpose is to ignite people into their fire, into their power. And so I'm living it, I'm doing it every single day of my life. I live my life on purpose. And it wasn't always this way in terms of the, shyness that I used to have and the, inhibitions or insecurities or whatever that would block me from living this life that I currently live on purpose in, activating people into their spirit and having them live a life full, really being alive and not living that sort of safe life that's mundane, and then, people experiencing not having the body, not having the abundance, not having the relationships and things like that. And it's like, how can we get out of our own way? So I've been doing this work since 2001, guys, since that moment in time. Has been 17 years that I've been on this journey of helping people shift and transform and change and inspire and have the body and have the life of their dreams and etc. And of course, this has to come from a place of knowing. It has to come from a place of doing that for myself. Otherwise, I can't talk about something that I don't really know or understand to that depth. And it's because I've been able to take myself into those levels of depth, facing the fears and, pushing the boundary, pushing the edges out of my comfort zone so that I could even be here and express this to you, right? So I'm just going to say hi. Don't know what's safe anymore. Well, the safe really is that nothing is safe. So find safety in knowing that there's nothing that is ever a guarantee. And so the safety is in moving along with the flow of the transition of life itself. The impermanence is the safety, and that is when you truly get to live your life to the fullest. And that in and of itself, that sentence shakes us to our core. You're like, oh my God, wait, there's no grounding. There's nothing I can hold on to. And I think, we live under the impression or the illusion that there is something to just grab onto. And I think that the more you can breathe into the space that everything is impermanent and that there is a constant change, that is the permanence, right? The constant change is the thing to know that you are basically the creator of every single moment, and to follow your heart through this life and to feel your way through this life, as opposed to doing things because somebody told you to do that. So I want to share a story with you, and this is inspired from what I've created most recently, and it's inspired through a movement I called Unleash, right? And I'll share with you what Unleash is and how it happened and when it started to really come through. So, I've been on the journey of being a physical transformation coach for a long time, and there was a lot of fitness involved. But even in that world of fitness, from the very beginning, I started to question it. What do you mean calorie counting? What do you mean I have to do this for the rest of my life to have this body? What do you mean I have to exercise and kill myself to continue to have this shape and then be like a hamster on a hamster wheel, continuously trying to get this thing that supposedly is going to make me happy? And so even in the questioning of that's how I created the Soul Body Method. So always questioning the supposed things that are going to create this body that we think is going to create happiness. And so I think that that's where really the journey of understanding this came through, but it was always in the question and the desire of being free, right? Because I was grounded a lot of my life. There was a, period from literally like ages 12 through 18, constantly not being allowed to be who I was, because anything that I did outside of my parents' rules, I was just grounded for at every moment. And being wronged for who I was. And so that's where the desire of like wanting to be free, being bullied from ages 8 through 12, again, not fitting in is what created that desire in me to find myself. Because what you're witnessing right now is probably me at the age of 5, right? Like where I'm super extroverted and allowing and speaking in front of people and creating these events and bringing community together. But I was the shyest kid that you would ever know, when I experienced the bullying and the racism and all of that between the ages 8 through 12. So, how to take the wounding that we've ever experienced and transform it into something that's purposeful and useful, because everything that happens in our life is meant and is here for a reason. So if you continue to follow this safety, ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And that's where the question was when it was 2014, when the question began after being married for 2.5 years, where like, how do I feel? I felt passionless. I felt empty. I felt numb. I felt like I'm not living the life that I imagined to be. Really, this is my life. I have to continue to be in this routine, and it's so not fun. Like, ask yourself where you're at in your life that just feels off, right? There's something about it that like, this can't be it. This can't possibly be it. Like, really, I get married and then what, have kids after, and that's the life that I meant to live? So whatever the question is for you that you're feeling off, and it might not be that very thing that I just mentioned, because everybody's life experience is so different. But what I'm asking you to do is feel into your life and ask yourself, are you fulfilled? Are you living your life in the way that you actually desire to live it? And what's been holding you back? What is the thing that's been stopping you from living this life that you imagine? And if you find yourself complaining about all the things that are wrong with your life, ask yourself, well, where am I not taking action in the path that I actually desire to live my life? And what is the fear that stops me from doing it? What is that thing? And so for me, when I began to question this in 2014, I'm like, there's got to be something else to this. I can't live this anymore. And for 2.5 years, which I really enjoyed dancing salsa, I stopped dancing salsa because at the time, the person who I was married to felt like I was too much of a pro at dancing salsa, so he didn't want to come with me. And therefore, I decided, well, I'm not going to go dance. I'm just going to watch movies with you because that's what you want to do. So I'm going to actually put myself in a position of losing myself so that I can attend to you. And I understand that compromise in relationships, but not at the expense of losing yourself. So I want to bring that to light. And I am going to take a look at some of the comments that are being expressed here, but this is a very important topic of conversation in which I wish to inspire you and motivate you that there is something greater for you, that actually exists, that you don't have to live your life safe, because it's not really safe anyway. Truly, anything could happen at any moment in time that literally changes the trajectory of your life. There is nothing that is safe. So might as well take all the risks possible, might as well face all your fears, might as well enjoy it while you're in the process of this life experience, because none of it is safe. So, in that moment, I had a dream, actually, of a physical dream, like when I was sleeping, of swimming with the dolphins. And there's this little dolphin swimming through my legs. And I was like in this dream, and when I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh my God, I swam with the dolphins. I want to actually go do that. 3 days later, a friend of mine who lived in Hawaii posted, if you've ever had a dream of swimming with the dolphins, come to Hawaii. That's what I actually do for a living. And I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, that's a sign. I somehow got to do that. And in that moment in time, I was actually experiencing some hardship financially, I remember. And, throughout my career, there's been probably 2 times that I've experienced financial hardship, and all for a reason, because there's all lessons in this whole thing anyway. So I don't even attach myself to my identity or anything that's going wrong or financial hardship or a challenge, just to see it and roll with the punches. So anyway, what happened was I asked for help. That very vulnerable thing to do, and I did a GoFundMe campaign because I wanted to follow my actual dream that I had in my head that inspired this thing. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go do it. So I did an early birthday wish because my birthday was coming up. But like, gosh, I'm gonna ask people for money. Oh my gosh, like this is so out of character. This is so not me. What are people gonna think of me? Oh my gosh, they're probably gonna think like so many different thoughts that I thought. But there's something in me that was like, no, just do it. Everything's going to be fine. So there's these 2 voices. One is the voice of doubt, the voice of fear. And the other one is the voice of, you got this, you're okay. That voice of inspiration, that voice that rings true to your heart. And you have to discern between the 2 and find the balance. So I listened to the voice that was the voice of my personal truth and inspiration. And when I did that, I raised $1,200 to go and swim with the dolphins within 3 days' time. And I actually went with my friend, and the first day that I arrived, the next day, we went to the bays in Hawaii. They were there, 60 of them in the open ocean, that then allowed me to have the actual experience that I had in my dream. And not only that, but it was exactly as my dream. I actually caught it on GoPro, and there's actually a YouTube video that I have of this dream that came into reality, and you can watch it on my YouTube channel at Coach Yadi if you'd like to take a look. And there's this little guy of this little dolphin that swam through my legs and played with me. And it came into reality because I acted upon the dream, and I acted upon my heart, not my logic, not, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? And no, I can't do this. I can't leave right now. I don't have any money. Those are the logical reasons, right? And we create all this stuff that literally paralyzes us from doing and being and experiencing the life that we really, really wish to have and to live. Like, why else are we here? We're here for creation. We're here for exploration. We're here for joy. We're here to expand beyond anything and to find our true selves, right? And so after that happened, when I came back from it, I was like, oh my God, I want to create a soul discovery retreat. I feel like everyone should experience this whimsicality and this play. We forgot how to have fun. We're being adults all the time. Like, how is it that we can come back into our childlike self? How is it that we can experience life from that place that we have forgotten? Because in reality, a lot of the solutions to the problems are not logical. When you are in a place of play and joy and fun is where the answers will come. So if you're trying to figure it out on a logical level, you might need to go and meditate. You might need to go and play with the dolphins. You might need to go play outside. You might need to go dance. And that's how your answers will actually come. So the way that I even teach fitness or how to get the body is so not logical. It's so not about restriction. It's so not about deprivation. It's so not about dieting. It's so not about any of those things, because there's a different way. And there's one that feels really truthful. And I'm so excited about this because, I've actually lived it and have given people the guidance on how they can live that too, right? Like, that's the point. I'm not here to reserve all of this information to myself. I'm here to share this information because it might be of value to you. I wish for everyone on the planet to have their best life experience possible. And whatever I can do to contribute to that, that's what I'm going to do. Some people will agree with me. Some people I might ruffle their feathers. Some people are like, oh my God, this girl's too dreamy or whatever. And I don't care. It's fine because I'm here to do me, and this is how I get to do me, right? Not caring about what anybody else thinks. I did that for way too long and felt imprisoned and not free and suffering. So F that, moving right along, I'm gonna go live the life that I wish to live. So fast forward, after doing that, I created the actual retreat. People actually went and swam with the dolphins every single day for 7 days. It's freaking magical. The transformations that happened for those people that went were amazing. That led to my separation and divorce because I was like, I can no longer be in this because our soul contract is done. Thank you so much for being in my life, and I can no longer do this. That doesn't mean that I didn't suffer. That doesn't mean that I didn't cry, but it actually took a very short period of time for me to actually overcome that level of sadness, because what I started to come into is the actual life that I wanted to experience. And what I started to write up, and I actually recommend that if you're wanting something, right, to not just think about, well, how is it that I wish to live my life experience, but write it down. And some of the things that I began to write down after swimming with the dolphins and after being in this unconditional love experience, I wrote down, I wish to be surrounded by artists, musicians, creatives, people with open minds. And I wish to have this level of passion that I know that that's inside of me. I mean, I was literally in a relationship where he was super hot and attractive, yet I had zero sexual drive because I was not living the life that I wish to live. Right? And so there's nothing wrong with me hormonally or anything like that. And sometimes we think there's something wrong with our system, and it's actually a calling to attend to your heart. Where is it that you're not giving yourself love or choosing yourself? And then a lot of times that's the answer. So then that happened. I begin to crack myself open. Now all of the people in my life are creatives, musicians, artists. I barely have people that are my close friends in my life that are just from corporate jobs. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's simply that the life experience that I wish to have is one that is expansive, is open, is wild, is free, is creative, that there's no rules, because that's who I am. I don't wish to live my life around rules. So I don't surround myself with things around rules. That's why I'm an entrepreneur, because I'm not a follower, right? I can't just follow. I can be in community and I can totally co-create experiences with you, but I cannot be one to be tamed. So therefore, I don't put myself in positions that I am being told what to do, right? So it took a long time for me to experience, not a long time. I'll say that I started as an entrepreneur probably at the age of 19, and then worked for a certain company up until the age of 23. And then, more recently, I came into a company like 3 years ago that I just released about 3 months ago that felt more in alignment with not having rules. And even still, I felt contained and compartmentalized, which is why I had to release it, because it doesn't align with me, but it served a purpose. Wonderful. Moving on. Now I'm in a space where in 2000, so after the divorce, after all that, everything started to come into this, whoa, this is who I am, and the community and the people that I had around me were all of that and a bag of chips. It's so much fun, right? And then I went to Burning Man last year. Burning Man really did it for me. It's a vortex and it's a space where I felt like, oh my God, I'm home. This is me, where there's like no rules. Really, you create your own rules. Yes, there's discipline in cleaning up after any trails that you leave behind or whatnot. But what it was a space of creation and allowance and being fully who you are, which is what I'm all about. And literally after the last night at Burning Man, I danced with this man where we alchemized and literally just activated my codes. We had people surrounding us, watching us dance, because it was that self-expressed and that free, to the point that my girlfriend says to me, Yadi, you got to do this for work. You got to dance. You got to do this for your work. And I'm like, I know. And I dropped to my knees and I was in almost this disbelief, but belief that, whoa, this is actually what I came to do, is to really help people become fully self-expressed. But through dance was a huge part of it. Not that it's all of it, but it's a huge part of it. And not knowing how, 1 week later, I decided to have 10 women come to my house and dance, and the transformations that occurred there, I was like, whoa, this is actually happening. Fast forward, Unleash was then born after Burning Man, which gave me such a gift, but it took the action from my part. It took just me being like, okay, I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do it. And now I created Unleash this past February, where as soon as I heard this DJ playing, I was like, oh my God, that's my DJ. Oh my God, I'm going to create this event. And I created this event, not knowing how I was going to create the event. The location showed up, everything starts showing up. And I thought, well, maybe 30 people will come. But I was so passionate about it that 75 people ended up coming to my first event, right? And then it's been the fourth one, and it's more expansive, and more people want to come and they want to experience this. So now I'm living this reality of dancing my life away, truly. And I get to do it because I stepped out of my comfort zone of feeling safe. Because you're not safe, regardless. It doesn't matter how in control you want to be. When you attach yourself to that feeling of safety, that rug is going to be pulled under you, and you're going to suffer greatly. Suffer greatly because you're attached to that control and that feeling of safety. So at every moment, I let go more, I surrender more. At every moment that I find myself attached, I'm like, there goes those plans. The only thing that can be trusted truly is the universe. That it's in a constant flow, and it's always in the greater good of the entire existence. And that's all that you can trust. Like even for Burning Man, I got a ticket because my girlfriend all of a sudden says, oh, you can be in my tent and it's going to be 10 people, 10 women in it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then boom, got a ticket. And now all of a sudden, now we're not going to be in the same tent. And I'm like, okay, cool. So maybe I meant to go drive by myself. I'm not sure. And allowing for the answers to come through, because there's just a mind changes and you don't have control over that either. And if I were to like cling on to the fact that, oh, but wait, but you told me that we were going to sleep in this 10-person tent together. So it's letting go of everything. Be unattached to everything. And that's how you're going to get to be free. And along the way that you unattach is your feeling and your knowing, oh, this doesn't feel right. This feels off. And following your heart continuously, even if it does not seem logical, even if it doesn't seem logical, you just got to keep following your heart and following your truth. And funny enough, I just got my chart read by my amazing roommate who just came in not that long ago. And it makes total sense why I am the way I am, right? Like I'm a Scorpio, Aquarius rising, and a Leo moon, right? So this sense of self of that's so assured and so deep, and also very extroverted, and also very like community Aquarius, like, oh, let's all do this together. It all makes sense. And to not be afraid to be all of who I am, where some people might be inspired by this, some people will be triggered by it, some people will not want to follow this because I'm making them so uncomfortable. Freaking great. I'm happy to be that. So, guys, how you doing? That was my rant. I'm going to pause for a moment, breathe. And by the way, you can follow me at the on the top. It'll say Coach Yadi. My Instagram is at Coach Yadi. That's Coach Yari. Follow Unleash Movement if you like. Yeah, and visit my website, thesoulbodymethod.com. And Mia's not my roommate, no, but she's my dear friend, and she's just as wild and even more so, and in all different ways, and that's why we're friends. So thanks for asking that question. Let's see. Hi from Portugal. She said, F that, beautiful. I'm a man child. Yes, be a child forever. Let's see. The voice of fear and what others think normally takes over and wins. Yep. Takes a few days, weeks, months to actually get up again. Absolutely. And I understand, why that voice of fear can win sometimes, because it's like, but it'll win for so long. It just depends how long you want to suffer for, right? And how much depression you're in, and how much, what more are you willing to take? Is it to your deathbed? Right? And that's why I even put that. Being safe is the death of you. It'll be the death of you. And when I say the death of you, meaning your soul will just disappear, right? Because it's that's the you that wants to come out and play, and you're not giving it the allowance or the permission to do so. So that safety thing, it's an illusion. That money in your bank, that's an illusion. That's why when the market crashed back in 2007, that safety was literally rocked everybody's world, whoever had investments in all of this stuff. It's all an illusion. So it's how can we make the most wonderful life experience possible? Because if you have this one body, this one particular life in this moment now, because this is finite, this body is going to disappear at some point. So how can you make the most out of this particular body, this gift that you have been given to live in? How can you make the most of it? Because it is finite with this particular material form. So what do you have to lose? Truly is the question, and what do you have to gain, right? And in the losing of the self that wants to control everything is how you gain all of yourself. And that's how you get to fully self-express and be everything that you dreamed up. If you have been feeling closed in, stagnant, boxed, sad, depressed, passionless, your hormones aren't working, you're not turning on, what's happening is that your body is giving you information. It's telling you, yo, wake the F up, dude. Because you're not living to that full life experience. And that's all it's signaling you to do. And, if you continue, and right now it might be even scary, just the thought to step out of your comfort zone. And I get that. And the softening of this, right? Because this is like the driver. This is like that voice of that, go do it. And the softening of that is to take step by step, right? What excites you right now to maybe do in a moment, and to want to engage in tomorrow? What feels really good? How do you wish to be entertained? And, to soften that driving force, to not make yourself crazy because you're not there yet. It's what is the next step for you? What is one actionable step that'll bring you closer to your self-expression and your freedom? You don't have to take 10 steps. You don't have to jump off the cliff. You don't have to, go take that airplane and jump and hope that the parachute opens, although I do quite often. But that's because I'm also a Scorpio, and that's because I'm also just at this point in my life that I'm I don't have anything to freaking lose. And it wasn't always that way, because I was in fear mode for a very large part of my life, and not living to this full self-expression that I'm currently in. And it took a lot of diving deeply. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of knowing myself and seeing where I'm not loving myself, where I'm not really embracing those parts of me that need to be loved, that need to have a voice, that need to be heard. Speaking my truth when my voice just wants to shake and not say anything at all. Being in integrity with what I came here to do and here to be is my highest excitement. And to be devoted, for me, it's important to devote myself to living this life. Otherwise, for me personally, I'd rather not be living, because what is the point for me if I'm not engaged in fully feeling everything? And even if I'm sad, I will feel sadness to the fullest. Like, great, bring it on. Let me feel that thing. And also when I experience joy and pleasure and fun, it's to the fullest expression of that. So you can meet me in the middle. You can meet me all the way. And just check in with yourself. I'm just here to kind of like give you that little ignition and that fire to come out of whatever it is that's been keeping you down and weighing you down and in that funk, because it's even possible that your body and the way you're experiencing your body right now, in that sense of stuckness or closedness or overweightedness or injury or illness or whatever, that's happening because you haven't quite been listening to what it's asking you to do. So there you have it, my friends. I'm going to kind of scroll down and see just a few more comments on here. Some just don't have the confidence nor motivation to live their life. And that's where they need to shift to that environment and energy force that will help activate boldness and reject fear. Okay, so, confidence is the thing that happens after you do it because you're fearful first. People that go and take a dive, do you think that the people that go dive into the deep water, that they initially just, I have so much confidence in myself, I'm gonna go do that. That feels like so safe. That's not the case. Confidence comes after you do it. It's the belief that it's going to be okay when you do it, and the imagination that allows you to go there. The confidence comes afterward. So it's not about me being a confident person. I've gained confidence along the way of facing all my fears, but I wasn't confident to begin with. I'll take that back. I was probably confident in my early stages of life up until probably the age of 5. Right? And then things start to happen along the way, the no's, the shoulds, the shouldn'ts. You have to, this is what's appropriate, this is what it's inappropriate, this is what's right and wrong. And then the confidence starts to go down because now you're being told all of these things based upon what other people's beliefs are, and you believe them. It's until you start coming back into your truth and now literally peeling off all those layers that anybody ever gave you that were not yours to begin with. That's when true confidence starts setting in. And so my biggest thing for you is to give yourself the permission that if you quote unquote fail, meaning if it's not perfect, it's not about it being perfect. Nothing is perfect. So like, you don't have to do it right the first time you do it. You're gonna fuck up, and allow that. That's actually part of the process. It cannot be perfect the first time that you do it. When I started to ride were you perfect when you started to ride your bike? Did you fall off a few times? I did, a lot. And then I got it, and then I picked it up, and now I'm confident in riding bike, right? What else? Should we believe in zodiac? Seems a bit off. It just depends on who is doing the readings, and who has an understanding in a little bit more depth than just like, oh, you're a Scorpio. This is like, oh, this is just you and who you are. There's actually much more to it. And I can point you in all the right directions with people that you can meet. So if you want for that, DM me. I'm going to climb Shalian Mountain. Everyone says it's impossible. I'm sure it is. I don't know. I mean, everything is possible. So I feel like, there's that guy, I don't know if you ever saw him. Like, I forget what his name was, but he was on the cover, I think, of National Geographic. He just went without any ropes, without anything, and just started climbing these impossible mountains to climb, and he did it with just his bare fingers, and every crack and every crevice he would just climb, and he was just like Spider-Man. So those things that we think are impossible are possible. Like Unleash, I'm telling you, how I created Unleash was a leap of faith, and creating a dream into a reality of leading people into dancing and playing and exploring and full permission to go all out. And that's my life. That's what I'm actually living. And it feels so dreamlike and it feels so whimsical, but I created it into my reality, and that's my reality. So everything that you can dream up is possible. It might not look exactly the way you can dream it, you can imagine it. It might look beyond what you thought was possible. For me, it's beyond that. And so, yeah. Let's see. How to expand your consciousness and vibrations. Yeah, so feeling first and foremost. Does it feel good? Do you feel contracted? Do you feel closed off? Does it feel uncomfortable being in that safety zone? And is there an angst for something greater to come through you? So little by little, begin taking actions in the direction of what can expand you, and put yourself in those positions that are greater. It's like working out, right? Like, you can't grow a bicep muscle unless you work out your bicep. It can't expand because you're not giving it any stimulus to expand. If you keep it safe, you cannot expand further, and you're not going to be safe anyway because now everything scares you, everything. And so it's like not safe. And also just do things that feel joyful about how to expand your consciousness. Like go back into playing. Go back, well, what made you feel good when you were a little kid? What were you doing then? What were you doing at the points of your life that you felt the best? Start tapping into those things. Start acknowledging those things, and begin to bring that meditation, movement, singing, anything that brings you back to the state of presence, because the body is here to bridge that gap and allow you to become more present. And anytime you work on your body, you breathe, you're in this space, you're not in your headiness, thinking about what's out there, you come back into a state of presence. And this is in that spaciousness is where the creation is born. So consistently, how can you bring yourself back to your body? Your body is the way to your spirit. So because it brings you into presence, and it takes you away from the incessant thoughts that the mind is constantly, that monkey brain wants to constantly be doing to kind of sabotage what your heart actually desires. Music, singing, dancing, playing, painting, all those things. A meditation exercise. Yeah, so there's lots of different ways to meditate. And one of them, very simply, you guys, I really enjoy putting on binaural beats personally to get me in a brainwave state that can drop me in more easy. And so if you look up like something on YouTube, for instance, for binaural beats, you can find that in there, plug them in, and just breathe and sit. And when you place yourself, make sure that you're upright, and you might want to put something behind your lower back to separate you from the wall or from wherever you're at, so that you can have a straighter, more aligned posture as you're doing it, and not be uptight, just relaxed into it. And, just breathing through it, and just set up maybe about like 10 minutes of that, or see how long you can do it, and maybe start with 6 minutes, maybe start with 3. Obviously, about 15 to 20 minutes is pretty good amount of time to drop you into that space of being more present and more calm and more at a state of peace. And that's one way. Another way of coming into meditation, which I personally recommend, is to be physical prior to to being in a seated position. Sometimes we need to release the energy from our body to come out of the headiness and all the thoughts that want to come through, especially when you're in meditation. And it's not that thinking is wrong, because that's just the nature of your mind, just as the nature of your ears are to hear. Thoughts are going to come through when you meditate. So it's not to stop thinking, right? That's not the end goal. It's just to be present with what is, and be present with who you are, and with your breath, with your body, with the sensations, and even be present with, oh, okay, I'm thinking, and just be present and a witness to it. Binaural beats, I find that drop you into the space really beautifully. I've also done transcendental. I've taken a course in Vedic meditation, which is similar to transcendental, and that was helpful for me. And I think dancing personally for me is a meditative state of being. Anything that I'm super present in is like, I'm present with you right now, right? There's a sort of meditation, or when you're washing dishes and you're in the state of being, or like, creating. When you're painting, you go into a state of meditation. When you're surfing, you go into a state of meditation. It's like you become one with it. For me, dancing does it, and it takes me probably, a few minutes to drop into my body. So it takes just a little bit of time until you're really present. Meditation really is presence, and that's what is wanting to come through from it, right? So, and again, guys, if you want to connect with me, if you want I have one space for an actual transformation coaching. So if that's something that you want to do with me, wonderful. DM me at Coach Yadi, and I'd be happy to chat with you in case, whether it's body transformation or life transformation. That's what I do. This is my life's purpose. So there's many different ways I go about it. And wonderful. Okay, so let's see. Oh, thanks for the answer. Much love, South Africa. Beautiful. Neste, I don't know too much Portuguese, but it sounds like Portuguese. Neste preciso momento estás apenas a utilizar o cerebro. Something like that. Something about using your brain. Sure, yeah, I'm using my brain to speak to you. Correct. Okay, lots of ways, I think, explore for meditation and deepening on music, mantra, breath. Beautiful, absolutely. Olfactory nerves. Yeah, smelling of even scents and oils can drop you more into your body, and very quickly, because that system, when you smell, the smell literally drops you into a particular space. That's why certain oils are designed for particular things, because they have properties that engage certain things. Like there's oils for calmness, there's oils to enhance your pleasure. There's all sorts of things. Uma coisa é estar atento, outra coisa é meditar. Yep. Yeah, one thing is to be attentive and focus, and another thing is to meditate. And, having a focal point can allow for meditation. So they're slightly different, correct? Good job there. I didn't make that myself, that mandala. I bought it on Amazon, and it's great. So yeah, guys, this has been super duper fun. And if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer. But in my opinion, don't play it safe, because it's not safe anyway. And go for your dreams and follow your heart, and anything that brings you joy and excitement, go do it. It's important that you follow it, even if you quote unquote fail. It's no such thing as failure. All you're doing is there's an opportunity for growth and to learn. And confidence is not a thing that you have. It's a thing that you get after you've acted on the thing that you don't know, and on your acting on those parts of you that are fearful. When it scares you and excites you, that must mean that you got to go take the chance to do it, because that's where your answer lies for the most part. So what else? This up close live video, I can lip read you easier. Oh, you're so welcome, Scott. Cool beans. You know, mandalas, they kind of bring you into a state of remembrance. It's like you know, when you're in a trance, right? There's a transcendence that gets to happen, and sacred geometry is part of our genetic makeup. It's like our DNA, right? There's like these spirals in our DNA, and it's part of the genetic makeup as well. And so everything is geometry and mathematics in this universe. And so I feel like they can help bring more connection to your truth. And I really just like the design, and it's fun and it's beautiful, and I'm attracted to beauty, and that's why I have it. So I've also experienced psilocybin, and have actually seen like this, what you see here. Like, I understand a little bit more of where it comes from, because I've been able to see it in the tapestry of the sky, and I'm actually able to see that like in a tangible way, almost through my eyes, when I've done mushrooms, and I see where that art actually comes from, and it's almost like an unveiling of things, or more connection to earth that can happen. So that's just been my experience. What else? Okay. When's the next stretching webcast? Stretching, that might be very cool to do. I'm wondering who's interested in stretching. Yeah, I can definitely show more movement and exercise and all that fun jazz if you're interested. But definitely go to my website, thesoulbodymethod.com, and in there you'll also find 4 free audibles on mindset, soul set, nourishment, and movement. And they're cool because it's just about like 5 to 10 minutes, and you can just really download the information that I'm sharing in very digestible form than, you know, a really long, expanded, winded answer. So it'll kind of keep it very succinct for you. So let's see what else. All right, CJ, thank you guys so much. I love you. I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope that it really brought a sense of inquiry for you as well, because curiosity then leads to answers, right? And if there's something that you're questioning, be curious, you know, see a different way, because obviously you're having these questions because something doesn't feel right. Something's off. So follow your intuition. All right, guys, peace out. Love you. Bye.